Hi everybody, this is Lori at the Calico Cat Quilt Shop in Pipestone, Minnesota, and today I am going to show you how to make a bowl cozy. I know there's a lot of people that have made those before, but believe it or not, I know there's still some people that have not. I had not made any until I started thinking about this video. So to start with, there are a lot, especially if you have not done it before, there are a lot of different ways to get your batting cut. And it does need to be a specific shape. So this is what your batting is going to look like. You can either buy pre-cut batting, which there's probably at least a couple of different places that have that. You can also buy a template. There's a couple of different ones of those too, I know. I've got this kind from Creative Grids. This actually has a template for 2 different sizes, and you fold everything into quarters and then cut from there. And so depending on your batting, that's going to kind of determine how much fabric you need. But a couple of fat quarters will make at least one, depending on how many you want to make. So and the directions, I am going to be using the pre-cut batting for my example today. And you're going to want to look at your directions. And for example, the small size here uses 11-inch squares. The large size uses 16-inch squares. And the directions for mine use 10.5-inch squares. So what I'm going to do to start out with is going to cut 4 sets of 10.5-inch squares. If you get the pre-cut package like this, it will make 4 bowl cozies. And yeah, you can make however many you want, but that is what I'm going to do. Switch to this view. And I have already got a 10.5-inch strip cut out, and I have 2 different fabrics. I'm going to use one for the inside and one for the outside. And I should have used my rotating cutting mat. That would have been smart. But since I do not have that set up, we are just going to do it this way. And I've got my fabric doubled up because I'm going to be able to cut. Well, it'd be smart if I pulled it over here just a little bit. I'm going to be able to cut all of my sets out from this. So my 10.5 is right here, just past the selvage. And what I'm going to do is cut this one. I'm going to cut my next one out. And honestly, it doesn't have to be super exact because we're not quilting blocks. We're not piecing blocks, so. But, you know, I tend to be that way, which I'm sure a lot of you are too. Get that lined back up here fairly decent. And get me about a 10.5-inch there. So that is extra. And then I'm just gonna flip this around and finish my last trim on this end. There's also patterns out there that detail, and I'm sure there's probably other tutorials out there. So I should be done with that ruler. Okay, now that I've got my pieces, I need one of each fabric piece, 1 square. And we are going to turn them wrong side up And if you get the pre-cut batting, there will be 8 pieces. The other thing that's important is all the information that you find anywhere is going to tell you that you need to use 100% cotton for everything, the fabric, the batting, and the thread, to minimize the risk of issues if you put them in the microwave and actually use them in the microwave. So they are able to be heated in the microwave for short periods of time, and I believe this one says microwave up to 2-minute increments for no longer than a total of 6 minutes. So just to make it more microwave safe. So I will be using 100% cotton thread with my 100% cotton batting and fabric. Okay, so I've got 1 piece of the batting on each of my pieces of fabric, and if I was going to demonstrate, if I was going to do all of these, I would get them all lined up, and then we're going to take these over to the sewing machine. Okay, we are at the machine, and I have brought my 2 pieces of fabric and with my batting on them over, and I went ahead and put on a walking foot because I'm going to be going across the fabric and the batting, and I don't want to have the batting get stretched or anything like that. So, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to stitch across from corner to corner on both pieces, both directions. And if you want to go ahead and mark your diagonal, that's fine. I'm just going to eyeball it and call it good. And I don't actually have to start right at the corner. I can start where I'm going to be on my batting a little bit. So, and I'm going to go ahead and change my stitch length. Just a little teeny bit long. And if I can get this to work, I'm just going to put my second piece in. Because then I can just chain these together. And keep running. The next thing we're going to do is stitch the darts. And so what I'm going to do is fold each one in turn and stitch about close to 1/4 inch away from the batting on top of the batting. And so it's going to be easier to go this direction. So I have to do that on each side of both of them. And this is going to give us our shape. a little bit. And I'm not going to get too worried about this being exactly 1/4 inch. However, I can get it to work. Then we're going to go to our other sides. That is all of those. So now I need to trim that. Fairly close to the batting, or about 1/4 inch, whichever, on all of those. That. So I'm going to go press these seams open, which I could maybe finger press, or maybe not. So I'm going to press all these seams open to reduce the bulk, and then I'll be right back. I have got all of my seams pressed open. And now I'm going to layer my inside and my outside right sides together, and we are going to stitch around the edges to join them. And what I'm going to do, I'm just going to use clips for this. And the only thing we got to make sure, get these all lined up properly, and we have to leave a hole a few inches so that we can turn this right side out. So, and it doesn't really matter where you leave your opening. The first one I tried on a curve and it worked fine, but I'm gonna see this time how it works if I go with more of a straight edge, leaving that open, because it was a little bit challenging to turn it and finish it. So I've got clips on the middle part there, and I think I'm going to go ahead, I can trim these corners off. And I'm just going to put a couple of clips. I probably don't need more than one clip per corner. So we're going to do that. And I don't have to be super accurate because, again, we're turning this inside out, or right side out from where it is now. But I just need to hold my layers together and make it a little bit easier. To keep everything together. Get those out of my way. And then I'm going to do the same thing again. I'm going to stitch right inside on the batting about 1/4 of an inch, and that's just a ballpark. It doesn't have to be exact. So I'm going to start about there. And because when I turn this, it's going to get stressed a little bit, I'm going to backstitch. And then I just go around. This much open. So then I've got to turn it. Barely enough. If I'd have left myself a little bit more space, it wouldn't have been so hard to turn. But the last one I did, I left so much space it wasn't challenging at all, and then I had to sew that stitch or close it up. So there's a happy medium somewhere, I just don't know how to hit it. There, now I'm on the downhill slide. Okay. Now I'm gonna take this over to the iron and go ahead and press the edge, and then we're gonna top stitch it and finish it off. Okay, I'm back from the iron, and here is my hole that I used to turn, and so I'm gonna start there and get that stitched up. And it doesn't really matter which side I have, up or down, right side or inside or outside, but we're just gonna start here and top stitch around the edge, right near the edge, and then we'll be done. There's going to be a lot of bulk right here, but hopefully I've got those seams pressed flat and take my time and go through those. go. So whichever way you want to be, the inside and the outside. So there you have it. And now we've got a bowl cozy. Make a whole set. Make lots of sets for gifts if you'd like. So let me know if you've got any questions, and thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.